Good evening, everybody. Hello and welcome along to post-match reaction here on the Rangers Rabble podcast. As Rangers hang on to a 0-0 draw at home, we stop the home defeats. And I'll be honest with everybody. To a man, the 10 players who stayed in that park for what was just about 90 minutes if you add in the injury time deserve so much credit. To a man, they were all outstanding, including the substitutes that came on the park. Joining me tonight, I have Alex and Kenny. Alex, I've already spoke to you twice a day, so I'm not going to come to you. Just sit there and wait. Kenny, how are you?
I'm very well. That was more like the film Zulu than a game of football at the end of that. So I'm very, very chuffed that we've managed to keep ourselves in the tie.
Take me through, Kenny, your thoughts and feelings of that 112 minutes.
Pain. Let's see, pain, pride, and let me see, what would be the last word on that one? Happy, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, very, very, very proud, as Alex Ferguson says. And I think if there's any person in that dressing room that feels sorry for themselves, they shouldn't, because they have allowed us to stay in the tie with sheer grit, determination, and hard work. And I was very, very impressed with Bailey Rice as well.
Yes, and obviously we'll touch on that quickly, Alex. From what we said, you only got to see kind of one replay of it. That's a pretty nasty injury.
It's a sore one to take him. I mean, he went down straight away. Credit to the referee. He stopped the game instantly, but you've got to say it's a bit of a shame for Bailey Rice, because he was playing well. 50-odd minutes, he was having a good game. You know, he showed the manager he deserved to be on the pitch. He was playing well. It's just a nasty injury to take, and it's one that's probably unavoidable. The attacker goes to clear it. Bailey goes to try and win the ball, and he just takes a nasty one, and I hope he's all right. It was a good thing to see that he clapped the fans as he went off. So, you know, he was at least aware of where he was and what was going around him, but just hopefully he makes a speedy recovery and we can see him. But from that, probably end of Bailey Rice's season.
Yeah. Can we just touch on this quickly? Ken, I'll come to you first. Alex, feel free to jump in, because I know I've said this in the past and it hasn't happened, but I want to try and keep this as positive as I can. Paul Kenny is saying that the officials were shocking. I thought in most cases, to be fair to the referee, I thought he kind of called it right in most cases. A couple of big decisions, you can maybe be for or against one, and definitely against the other, I'm sure. But I thought in general the ref was okay.
There was a few clangers, mate. There was a few decisions you should have gave for a free, like a yellow card or whatever else. Your Bailey Rice is one of them. But there was a few decisions closer to the byline as well. There was one that was literally a fight. It was more like a WWE fight with Tierney and the fella, and nothing given at all. There was quite a few actually wee tiny things that should have been given. I feel he didn't have his best night. Yes, he did have a good few decisions he done okay with, but there was definitely some clangers in there as well. More so the penalty. I mean, for God's sake, really? You don't have to go anywhere near a screen as a referee. Grow some balls and say, listen, the guy's not even looking. You cannot give a penalty for that if you weren't going to give the one for Raskin, and hit battered off his hand down the way, and he wasn't looking at it either. But what did we all say? Oh, that's never a penalty because he wasn't even looking. Well, near we see. So there was a few different wee clangers in there for me that I can't give him. He was good. I can't.
All I'll say, Alex, is that you know the odd when you play European teams and they go down easy and they get the free kicks. The reason why I say I thought in a lot of cases tonight he was okay was because he was giving us them as well.
Yeah, he was giving us as well, and I think too often teams try to go down and get the free kicks, or they try and get a foul, they try and get something. But when you actually look at it, hello, Connor. Connor's just been inserted in. When you look at it, there was one instance, and I thought, right, referee's got that spot on. The Bilbao striker makes the slightest of contact with Leon Balogun, throws himself to the ground trying to get the penalty, and the referee instantly points for the free kick to Rangers and books him for simulation. And you thought, right, fair enough, he's actually got that 100% right. He's took no time to make that decision. The one thing I will say, though, to both of you is that The referee was in no way helped out by his linesman. The linesman was so poor. There was a few opportunities where we spoke about during the watch long corner. They were offside, and he still didn't put the flag up.
Yeah, there was. Aye, sorry, Martin's waving all sorts of hand signals at the bottom of the screen. It's I don't know what's happened there. Hopefully he'll be back in. But no, there was a few instances of not even marginal offsides, but like blatant offsides. You go, well, how are you not seeing that? And then there's the one where the boys down the byline, and it's out of play. It's clearly out of play, and doesn't give it. It ends up being a corner, and you're thinking, well, if they score for this, I mean, look, by far, obviously, the worst decision was the penalty kick. There's no getting away from it. It's the farce of VAR, check after check after check. It's like they knew, we're going to have to disallow the goal. It didn't look, the thing is, and they were saying it in commentaries, it didn't look like it was a difficult offside to give, because it looked clearly offside, but they were obviously checking and checking and checking on other things, and then to give a penalty for that, brushes his fingertips at best, and it's over his head. He's looking at it. Honestly, if they had won because of that tonight, it would have been a real injustice. But Liam Kelly stepped up, Kenny, in the crucial moment when he was required, and they pulled the old chestnuts out of the fire with a great save with the leg, just to put it up over the crossbar.
No, for the last time, by the way, Alec and Connor, no for the first time in his life, but his commentary's starting to get a bit right on the point. We Ali, isn't he? Straight away went, you know what? I wouldn't hate it if he actually saved this here. And all the wee things he's doing now, and he's getting them bang on. It's like you in the watch along, you're the same. So, but that's what he said, and he did, and he got it. And I like the fact that when he went to go whatever direction he did, he's always got, which keepers should have now, they should have it in the back of their mind that the guy's going to get in the middle. And I'm glad that he thought he was going to be cocky enough to do that, and Kelly didn't go all the way, so it was great.
Do you know what was worse though? Was the fact that, see, when you look at the replay for the penalty, they couldn't make up their mind if it comes off of the attacker's knee first, and he knees it onto Dujon, or if Dujon puts it on him, and it's like, if you're not sure of that because they slowed it down, they were going backwards and forwards with it. See, if you're not sure, how can you then say, well, he's definitely handled it first, we need to give the penalty? Correct. That was the worst part of that call, was the fact that they couldn't make up their mind what came first, if it was the knee or the hand. And so the fact that they've given it just shows that he could make up his own mind. VAR have gone, right, it's a penalty, and he's had to give it, because he doesn't rule out the goal first. He goes, right, it's a penalty, now we'll rule out the goal and give it, in the hopes that Bilbao actually go and score. That's what made it worse, was the fact that he was like, right, we need to take it away, but now we're going to give you the opportunity to try and get this goal.
Can I follow on for that, Connor? I completely concur all the way with that. If you see the amount of times they were trying to find something new, was alarming. Especially the fact that the guy's not even looking. His hand's behind him, and he doesn't even know who the player is, never mind the ball. But that wasn't the issue. The issue was he offside? And once they eradicated that, they started trying to find other things that was going on. It was pathetic. And as GB said in the comment there, that's when sometimes VAR's horrible, because in real time, any referee in any game wouldn't have gave any of that. They would have just shouted that, well, hopefully the linesman would have shouted offside. So it was pathetic, Alex. Definitely agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And to Stuart's point there, it's never a penalty, but the reason that they can award a penalty there is because the handball occurs before the offside, because the first man, the boy who first gets it, isn't offside. He's on. It's the rebound that goes to the second attacker where he's clearly offside, because he's ahead of the keeper. He's ahead of everybody else. Sterling's basically off the pitch, but it doesn't actually matter, because if you're ahead of the keeper, then the only way you can still be onside is if the ball's passed backwards at you, rather than
Sorry, I thought it there. Did you see that? What are you doing?
The boss man's back.
No, sorry, I was having severe internet issues. My bad. My apologies. Carry on, Connor.
No, I was just saying that's how they can give it, but it's not a penalty. It never has been. The problem is, it's in Europe, right? And people will say, well, look, in Scotland and SFA and that, I get that, but I can tell you now, and I have covered every VAR review show that they've done. I've listened to everything Willie Collum has said. That would not be given this season in the Scottish Premiership. It wouldn't be. And if it was, Willie Collum would absolutely be coming out and telling you how wrong it was, because it's all about, as Willie Collum said, a punishable offence. It's not a punishable offence because he's not looking. Is it a natural position? Well, yes, because he's defending the ball with a player next to him, so it's natural your arm's going to be there. And it brushes the fingertips straight onto the Bilbao player's leg, so it doesn't stop the attack either. It continues to the next phase for the offside. I just couldn't understand. And in all that time taken as well, that is, it's one thing when you're at home and you can see what's happening in the screen, but it is an absolute nightmare. See when you're sat in the stadium and you guys all know, and a check like that's going on, it feels like a bloody lifetime as well. It is. It's
could the argument not be made though that it was because of the distance the ball had travelled? And I'm just playing devil's advocate. Could it not be the distance that the ball's travelled? They would argue that he's had time to move his hand out the way, and it's hit his hand in the box coming for a distance, Kenny.
You could argue. Yep. I'd argue back, but you could argue.
I think it depends. If you could say that he's seen the ball all the way, maybe. But there's no way.
You're screaming for that though. If that's up the other end, you're screaming for that, wanting a penalty for it yourself.
Obviously, because you're an away fan. But see, at the end of the day, it already happened. We're asking. It already happened, and he thumped the ball down with his hand from behind.
Aye.
And they never gave that.
I think because his arm's not in a natural position, though. That's what's obviously the referee's got to question. His arm's not in a natural position. It's not behind his back. He has got his arm well behind him. So I think when you look at it that way, you're giving the referee a choice to make, and he's obviously gone with the penalty. If that's up the other end and a Bilbao player's got their hand that far out and it hits the hand, I'm saying that's a penalty. You're gonna, regardless of taking off the blue tinted glasses or not, you're gonna want a penalty for that. It just so happened to be that they scored from the ball coming from offside. They're going to give the penalty, and I'll be saying I want it myself.
But Alex, look at the one we're asking. It was a blatant hand, but it was the same position. Wasn't he looking, right? Same thing. Aye. Wasn't he looking?
But then you look at the proximity, though, wouldn't you? You look at the proximity, how close it was to Raskin. It was like from like yards away. Stelling's got enough time to move his hand, and he puts it further out, trying to get closer to the attacker.
That's to me. You can make that case, I suppose, but I just still feel that that's a bit of lack of football and understanding there, because in that moment, yes, it comes to a distance, but he's got his back turned because he's tussling and trying to keep pace with the attacker. His arm is where it is, because as all defenders do, you're feeling for where's the attacker.
That's in an unnatural position, though.
It's not unnatural.
It's an unnatural position. The balls came a long way into that box, and his hand's out and it hits his hand. Listen, see, when it first happened, I was all over social media. I was going absolutely off my nut. I was screaming and shouting about how UEFA just want to hand Bilbao the final on a plate. I was going absolutely off my nut. See, when you actually just take a wee step back and you look at it and you go, his hand's well out. It's came from miles away and it's hit him on the hand. For me, that's a handball.
I think he's still feeling for the defender.
Whether you're feeling for the defender or not,
I know. You're asking the question, I get it, but I still think he's just like this, trying to feel for the... And obviously in the box, you're taking your chance. I agree with you, as you're saying, but it's just very, 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 very harsh.
Can I also just say, but and I agree with CGM, Kelly saved it, so get it up. Yeah.
Like, the thing is, you can argue about it all day long, but justice was done. They scored from an offside position, awarded the penalty, and Kelly went, well, I'm just going to save it anyway. So, we can sit here and moan the fact that they were given a penalty. We've come away with a nothing each, a great result, but with the fact we finished that game with 9 men, and we've actually come away. We've got a chance now, go to Bilbao and do something over there, with the fact that we'll have Diamande back and we'll have John Suter, so we can field our strongest 11 in Bilbao. I think there's a lot of hope that we can actually take. We haven't lost this game tonight, and we've actually put a bit of respect on our name that we can hold our own in Europe.
Yep.
And do you know what I will say, Connor, as well? I don't know, and this might come back to bite me on the arse, as many things do when, you're on the internet talking about football. I wasn't that impressed with Bilbao. I'm not going to lie. I mean, look, they've got a couple of players in their team who can cut you open and do magical things. I understand that. But Tav and Yilmaz, and then when Jeffrey came on, our wing backs, I thought they were absolutely excellent tonight. And, I said to Alex before the game and the build-up, I says, do we need to get something to take over there? And by that, I meant, do we need to win the night? Because I had it in my head that this Bilbao team were an unstoppable, unmovable force. Connor, I don't know.
Well, it was certainly the wing backs, Tav and Yilmaz, I felt handled the Williams brothers very, very well on both sides. There was a moment where
They had chances, of course.
Tav unfortunately found himself in a one-on-one foot race with Nico Williams, and you could just see, and I said to Alex on the watch on, it's the difference between having that youthfulness on your side that Williams has got in that pace, and Tav starts quickly, but he faded very quickly, so it allowed Williams just to get a step ahead of him, and Tav made the slide tackle. But the good thing is there was players coming in and covering as well, and doing the bits he needed done. I mean, Hadji at one point makes an absolutely tremendous recovery tackle. When they look as if they're in, it comes back to the boy, and Hadji he's came for at least 30-40 yards with a run to get there, and I just think it was brilliant. And that was it was a roll your sleeves up kind of performance, and just get stuck in. And look, the funny thing is, listen, I think Bilbao is still a good team. I think it'll be difficult to over there. The dynamic of the game changes, not just, and it's always the way. See, when a man gets sent off in any game of football for either team, the dynamic changes for both sides. But it's not just Rangers that it changed for the night. It changed their game plan in terms of we had to clearly be a bit more defensive and try and hold out, which we did. And in the first half, we had moments where we get set pieces where you thought, well, we could still maybe do something. But it changed that for Bilbao as well, because they probably then have to deal with a more defensive shape than they'd have expected. Now, they will feel they should have found the answers to that, because you're playing 10 men, But I remember, was it a couple of years ago, Champions League qualifier, I think it was, we played Malmo, and they went down to 10 men, and they ended up winning that game. It can happen. It's about finding ways. Tonight we found a way to stay in it. Bilbao, not a great performance for them tonight, but I wouldn't be totally lured into a false sense of security, because when we go there, it's a different animal. And saying that, though, most of our wins of late, Martin, have came away from home, so you just never know.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you don't. Scotsman in Spain, thank you very much for the super chat. Bilbao ain't far, time to book accommodation. Now, does he mean for the return leg, or does he mean for the final? That's what we all want to know. But thank you very much for the super chat. I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to bring this to you, Kenny, for Aldo. Thank you for the channel member as well. So thank you for the dual support there, Aldo. All I can say is, Liam Kelly, take a bow, son. Overall, what a fantastic performance for some no-use player. Kenny, the gauntlet was put down to him. Today, you come in, you perform well, you keep that jersey. By God, does he keep that jersey?
Well, we'll go back a long time when we had a wee discussion about, I think it was on with you, Martin, and I think it was no Stuart Gilroy there, Stuart, and a couple other ones, when he was starting to make a lot of howlers buttling to his feet, and I'd said he makes a lot of mistakes, and I'm worried that that's going to continue. And then we asked, well, who would you go? And I said I would give Kelly the chance just to see, because that's what he's there for. If he's the number two and your number one's making a lot of mistakes, you give him the chance. This was months ago, and I got walloped for it. And then the question was, do you think Kelly's better than Butland? And I says, no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, give the boy his chance. And I'm liking the fact that we're starting to nitpick and give him little bits and bobs. And tonight, he was phenomenal. There was to divert the initial shot from which then came the goal, which then came the penalty on offside. It was him that rushed out to block the initial shot anyway. And there was a couple of wee instances like that where his timing was good. The boy can kick a ball, make no mistake about it. Mm-hmm. Some of the balls up front were phenomenal, and they were direct to wherever he was trying to put it, which is also important, rather than just hoofing it and it's going anywhere. So I'm very chuffed for him, Martin. I'm very, very chuffed for the guy. He deserves what he's getting, and I'm always a big believer if it's in a position of play, if somebody's not doing too well, the person that's sitting on the bench gets the chance. That should be no different with the goalkeeper, I don't think.
I mean, he's getting a lot of praise for his second half performance, but that save in the first half when he tipped
Oh,
over the ball, it's a
save.
phenomenal
Brilliant
save.
save.
And it
Yep.
keeps us in the game. And I mean, he had a lot of great saves in that second half, but that save just showed that he's got the ability. And the second one would be when he dove, Sunset headed it in the corner and he dove and he caught it with both hands. You think if that's Jack Butland, he tries to palm that around the post. The fact he managed to dive at full stretch and catch it just showed that there was a different quality there tonight, and he absolutely wanted to take that with both hands.
And see, Alex, see when he plays like that and he makes the saves, right? Which 9 times out of 10, whether it's domestic or Europe, Jack Butland makes the saves, but he's been thrown in a few clangers lately, right?
Mhm.
So when Kelly doesn't really make any mistakes, you notice the difference with the ball at Kelly's feet. There was umpteen times a night when the ball gets played back to him because we're so deep that I'm thinking to myself, God, see, just your keeper being able to clear it well over the halfway line. All right, it was going straight back to Bilbao, but you're thinking to yourself, Alex, if Butland's in goal, is that getting scuffed? Is he clearing it properly? When he's passing it to the right or the left back, you're worried. None of that with Kelly.
There was absolutely none of that tonight, and I think when you look at the way Jack Butland sometimes I think he gets in his head too much. He tries to take that touch and then he tries to chop back to the other side, and he gets too indecisive. Liam Kelly just had one thought in his mind: it was get it gone, get it out of the danger area. Don't give my defenders any pressure to have to worry about. Yes, the ball's going to come back, but then that's for the midfield to push up, and he just showed that he was able to handle that pressure tonight. I think the big test for Kelly is probably going to be Aberdeen. Can he do it domestically? Because although he's putting a great performance tonight in the European campaign, can he do it domestically as well? Because I think he'll obviously be kept in as the number one against Aberdeen after a performance like that. But it's just going to be, he didn't feel tonight. There was a few opportunities when the ball came in and he got right stuck in. As Kenny said, he rushed out for the one that led to the penalty. But there was balls that were coming over the top and he wasn't trying to punch it. He wasn't trying to be fancy. He was getting in and catching it. If he was taking a knock, he was taking it, but then he was straight up to the referee, saying he'd had a knock, but then not wasting time getting the ball moving again and doing everything he can. And I think that was the difference tonight for Liam Kelly. He just wanted to keep the game going. There was no theatrics.
No, I
the thing is, he is an experienced hat domestically in the Scottish Premiership, you have to say. It's not as if going to a ground like Pittodrie would be an intimidating thing for Kelly because he's been there and done that plenty of times. I think as well, it has to be said, I know he got some flack for the performance at Easter Road earlier in the season. And rightly so, he did make, he didn't always cover himself and go to there, but let's be honest, neither did the defence. Apart from that one game, though, when he did come into the squad, I don't think there was another really outrageously bad performance he put in. And I think, I have, and listen, I've been slated for it at times. I've been a massive cheerleader for Liam Kelly this season, getting an opportunity, particularly with Butland not playing well, because you need that tonight. I think is a jolt up Jack Butland's backside as well, because he's just seen the number 2 put in a brilliant shift, and that sends a message to him. Do you know what, Jack? You've been dropped because you're poor. He's now playing well, so now it's your job to try and get that spot back at this point in time. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be a mistake somewhere. There might be. But for now, he's doing really well. And listen, I'll still maintain that the best save for a Rangers goalkeeper all season long happened in pre-season against Ajax for Liam Kelly. That is still up there as one of the most outrageous saves I've ever seen. But, I just feel he is such a good, solid hand to have, particularly for the domestics. And he's shown tonight he can step up as well. I would like Liam Kelly to, if he wanted to stick around as a backup choice next season. I really would, because there are vastly worse backups you could have than that. I imagine if Butland goes in the summer, we'll look to replace him with another, top keeper. And as I say, Kelly's not top class, but he's a very solid goalkeeper in those moments. And I felt, and I don't really agree, I said to Alex at the end of the game as well, I felt the defence seemed to just feel a wee bit more confidence in Kelly, because he's not been the one under fire and being jittery and spilling shots that are straight at him.
He's also a keeper. He's also a keeper, though, Connor, that you can give the ball back to in tight situations.
Absolutely. Yeah, he doesn't mind that. And the other thing to bear in mind here, guys, that's important for Liam Kelly, he's a Rangers Academy graduate. He came through the Rangers Academy years ago, and we let him go when he was a young lad, and he went out and did other things. So it's a good thing for us, I think, as well as Rangers fans, to see somebody like that come back to the club and get some plaudits for actually going and doing a a real good shift like that. Look, things might change, but as I say, for now, it's now probably Liam Kelly's jersey to lose.
Yeah, especially as we're so close to the end of the season, right? Kenny, I suppose we better talk about it because CGM's getting a little bit impatient. Are we going to mention the red card, red definitely, or not? I'm just going to be brutally honest. Kenny, for me, it's a red card.
Aye, well, as it a goal scoring opportunity? You better believe it. If he doesn't make it, he's through. So I know there's players coming into the box, but they're too far wide of each other for him. It's basically one touch and he's in on our keeper. So it's a red for me, mate. It was rash. I'd rather take the free kick than take a goal, and it's proved that it was the right thing to do. Because look where we're sitting here now and what we're talking about. So, aye, red for me, mates. Short, sharp, simple. Yes.
Are we, Alex? Are we completely 100% blaming Proper, or is it one of these ones where he's about to be through in goal? Proper knows he's not quick enough to turn and get to him. Is it what you would expect your defender to do, or should he just let him go?
I mean, there's two tackles in that instance. There's Leon Balogun makes the tackle and he misses the ball, and I think Proper knows he's not going to get there. I'd want my defender. I know Robin Proper's taking a lot of flack, as Kenny said before we came on social media. He's getting hunted by a lot of Rangers pages. I want him to make that tackle. I want him to take the man down, save us going a goal down that early on, because he's probably still going to get booked for the tackle, and then he's going to spend the rest of the game on a booking. But the fact that then he's not having to rely on the goalkeeper to make a save, he's taken down, got the red card. As soon as I seen it, I said it was a red. But it's a tackle he has to make. He's got no choice. Any defender's making that challenge. We could be sitting here saying Desser's a sent off for making that challenge. He has to make it. His last man is clean through. If he doesn't take him down, he's going to score, regardless of who's in net. He's going to score from that angle, and I think he's done the right thing, taking him down.
Connor, it's the only thing Proper can do. He is getting slated to hell on whatever social media you want to check. He's getting battered left, right, and centre, Connor.
Yeah, and I think it's maybe a bit harsh on him. And I was guilty of myself in the heat of the moment. In terms of, about a minute or two before that, there was a moment where Bilbao had got forward and Proper maybe wasn't strong enough in the challenge, and the striker get through and just fired it wide, and then obviously that happened straight after it. But the fact is, it could have been any the back line in that position tonight. They'd had to have made that tackle. Balogun misses the initial challenge. And as brilliant as Balogun is, and as I say, for me, is our best pure centre back we've got at the club. Probably him and Soapy. But I think in that situation, because Balogun's missed the challenge, Proper then has to try and make the challenge. And if you don't get the ball, it's a red card because he's clean through and goal. He's going to be one-on-one with Liam Kelly. But let's be honest, we probably saved it with how well he played tonight. But still, it is a red card. It's unfortunate, I must say. It's very, very unfortunate for him. And I'm sure he'll be as gutted as anybody because he's got that chance after Jack Button nearly killed him a couple of weeks ago to come back in and prove a point, and it just hasn't went for him. But these things happen in football. I don't think there's plenty of other reasons to criticise Robin Proper this season than tonight. Tonight, I think it's just unlucky, and I don't think he deserves the pile on off the back of tonight.
Oh, I was on mute. I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, there's a comment there. Can't even find it now. For Kevin, it's a super chat, Kenny. Thank you very much, Kevin. And I've got your other one there. I'm going to bring them in. Don't worry. Was red card, but Proper doesn't deserve the hated criticism from fans. It's football. Yeah, I agree with that. But that also in the same breath, though, Kenny, doesn't stop me from saying he's not good enough.
We've been saying it for a long, long time. It's just unfortunate the fact that it's him that's made the challenge, because if it was the opposite way around and Balogun was the one at the other side and it was Proper missed it and Balogun done it, would he be getting as much ping as what Proper was? No, because we've already made our mind up on the fella. He's decent enough in Europe sometimes. In the league, he's terrible. So we'd already made our mind up. So I think if it was roles reversed, he wouldn't be getting the criticism. And as Connor rightly said there, it's football. That happens. And I think there was a comment there saying he should have just let him go. Really? The guy was clear through.
If he lets him go, Kenny, then the pile-on's coming regardless.
You better believe it. So, yeah, it should never have been let go. I'm agreeing with Alex there. You take him out. You take one for the team. Try and make sure you don't get it outside the box, and let's see what the rest does. I'm not so sure about there was a comment there and all, but the kind of sin bin idea as well. That can cause all sorts of problems as well, which it rightly did. And I'm not so sure that's the best for football. No, because it would be a riot. It would be an absolute riot. But anyway,
the only thing that gave me a chuckle about that is that they were touting the sin bin being a blue card, and I would just love to have seen a Celtic player get a blue card at Parkhead.
That would be interesting. Right. Let's hear for the manager then.
See if we go to Barry, right? Do you know what would have been interesting? See, you said there, Kenny, that if Proper had missed the challenge and Balogun and took him out, Balogun's one sitting off, I think Proper still gets the flack for missing the challenge. So I think he would have still got the flack anyway. It just so happened to be that it was Proper, and he's really not liked right now by the Rangers fans because he's not good enough. And I think he was getting flack regardless. If he took him out and then he gets the red, he's getting the flack. If he's the one that misses the challenge, he gets it. So I think he's right now he's in a no-win situation, Robin Proper.
Yeah, I completely agree. Right, let's hear from the manager.
You must be so pleased with the character and the fighting spirit from your players tonight.
Yeah, that's a lot more like it. That's what I expect from my group of players. And that's a proper Rangers performance. At times it wasn't pretty. It's difficult when you get down to 10 men against a very good team, but I thought individually and collectively they fought for one another, and I'm sure the fans in the stands appreciated that.
Yeah, it shows the defensive resilience, as you say, to hold a very good athletic team to very little with 10 men. Yeah,
that's been an issue, conceding goals, really soft goals at times, but I thought the defenders put their bodies on the line, and that's what I expect. But it just wasn't the defenders, I thought, into the midfield and up top. Everybody worked for one another, and when you get that, you tend to get positive results. And then when you've got 3, 4 or 5 that aren't prepared to do that, like it was at the weekend, then you suffer. But listen, I've got to give the boys credit, especially playing 80 minutes plus, 12 minutes added on. They put a lot of effort into it, and also going down to 9 men with Duge. So yeah, overall, really positive. It's half time. We just need to see how everybody recovers now, because there's a few that are really struggling. But listen, I said to them, that's what I expect now going forward.
Yeah, and that moment from Liam Kelly as well, it could be very vital coming in with these 2 lads.
Yeah, I watched it back, and look, it did connect with Duge's hand, there's no doubt about that, but he wasn't looking at it. But listen, the referee gave a penalty, and listen, Kel stepped up with a brilliant save, so delighted for him.
We often speak about this Ibrox crowd, they often push the players over the line, but they really kept the team in the game tonight.
Brilliant. So noisy from minute 1 right until the very end. They drove the team on. They could see the team were getting tired at stages, but they kept with them. And certainly, listen, since I've come through the door, the fans, even with a couple of tough results, the fans have always stuck behind us. And I thought tonight they were just immense.
You mentioned there a couple of injuries, obviously Bailey going off, Dujon going off. Do you have an early update on any of them? Well,
Bailey got a knock in the back of his neck. He's fine now. He's sitting, talking and going on about his teammates. And Duge, listen, we just need to wait and see with Duge. He'll go for a scan tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and just looking ahead to next week is all to play for now in Bilbao, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to next Thursday. I'm looking forward to Sunday. That's now my concern, and seeing how many bodies I've got to travel up to Aberdeen. But they put a lot of work in. They'll go home, they'll rest, and we'll get in tomorrow and see what kind of the numbers are going to be like for the weekend.
I like that, Kenny. I must admit, see that? I'm not looking forward to next Thursday. I'm looking forward to Sunday. I like that.
Yeah, I think we all do. I think he's not done too badly in most of his interviews, has he? Really, let's be honest, he's quite sharp and to the point. But I think the fact that he doesn't get carried away because he's seen it, he's done it, he's wore the t-shirt, he's been in these type of situations as a player, and he's probably heard very, very good managers telling and saying those very, very clear messages, short and sharp. So it was nice. It was like what you're talking about next week for. We've still got a game on Sunday. However, having said that, I'm not really 100% bothered. I am, right? But if we have to cause more injuries, I'd rather play a few of the kids and go for Thursday. I know it's controversial, but it's far more important in my eyes than 3 points in the league. And it's controversial, but it's my opinion.
Connor, I think a lot of people will agree with that. I'm looking at the comments that we've got incoming tonight, and there's a lot of people just saying, play the B team, play the B team. Obviously, Baylor Rice came down with a knock. We'll talk about him in a wee minute.
Yeah.
John Sterling, we'll talk about him in a minute as well. Going down with it. Hopefully, it's just a slight knock and he's back for the second leg. I'm kind of right now, as we sit here at 8 minutes to 11 on a Thursday night, I'm thinking to myself, don't play Raskin, don't play Tav, don't play Balogun, don't play players who you can't afford to lose for the second leg on Sunday.
Yes.
But it's still Aberdeen. So
there's the two factors that go into it for me. Otherwise, I'd agree. One, it's Aberdeen and it's at Pittodrie. And, we need to try and give them one back for, all the times they decide to turn up. But there's also the fact that they'll be extra motivated, Aberdeen, because should Celtic win on Saturday, then us dropping any points on Sunday will officially crown them champions this weekend. Now, the league's already gone. Right?
I don't think a single Rangers fan cares.
But I know, but I don't want them to win the league via us losing to Aberdeen, because there'll be title parties in the streets of Aberdeen as well that night. That's exactly what Aberdeen would love to do.
See, the thing is, Connor, and I'm going to come straight back to you on that, right? I genuinely, right, because the league's been gone for such a long time, right? I genuinely don't think a single Rangers fan will pay any attention to any set. See, where we're still in this Europa League, not a single Rangers fan gives a monkeys. Not anybody outside Scottish football gives a monkeys, and that just annoys them even more. We won't, until we're out the Europa League, we won't even think about the league, and that will just rub them up the wrong way. See, if we go and we...
More of them are watching tonight, worried about tonight, hoping that we get an absolute
absolutely,
rather than watching what's happening on Sunday.
Because we have been absolutely minging in the league corner. I do not think on Sunday, whether we win, lose or draw, whether they win the league on Sunday the following week, a single Rangers fan will give a toss who we play on Sunday.
No, I don't disagree with you. That is, clearly the Europa League is more important. It's the only thing that we can actively compete for. And I am desperate to see us get through to that semi-final. Because you look at it and you go, well, Man United or Lyon. Now, the British football romanticist in me says, give us Man United or 2 legs in a semi-final. Not a problem. We went down there and we were unlucky to walk away from Old Trafford with nothing. We just fell asleep in the last minute and it obviously cost us. Lyon, we've played in the group stage. They thumped us at Ibrox, so would be nice to try and give them one back as well. But just getting there financially for the club as well with this takeover would be huge. And so I really hope that we do it. But the dream world for me is that somehow we managed to negotiate our way through. We beat Man United at the semi-final, and then we cost Angie's job by beating him in the final. That to me would just be forget everything else that's happened this season. That, if Barry Ferguson left us in that note, build him a statue. You know what I mean? But obviously, it's more important next week. It is. But I suspect there will be changes on Sunday. If I was Barry, why not start Danilo on Sunday? Why not just give him the run out? Because Igaman and Dessers are clearly going to be more important to him in Europe than Danilo. We've seen that with the fact he never appeared. So that's what I would be doing.
Yeah, like give Dio 60 minutes, give Suter 60 minutes just to get them.
Cortez as well, James Bannatyne saying.
Play
Yeah.
Cortez, play Fernandez, play McCausland. Do not risk Cherney
Mason
whatsoever.
Munn in goal just for the sake of it.
Mason Munn in goal.
See, the
Just
thing
do
is, right?
whatever you want. But
See,
back
the
to the
thing
game tonight, Alex, if
See
we
if you
can.
play any of these players on Sunday, right? Aberdeen will purposely try and injure every one of them. That is what their game plan will be. Injure them so they cannot play on Thursday away to Bilbao. So if you play any of them, like you're saying, if you play Egerman, you play Cherney, you play Raskin, their job will just be go out there and hurt them. If you get a red card, so be it. But go out there and hurt them so they can't play. And that's why you can't risk them tonight.
Yeah, you can't. I wouldn't be playing anybody on Sunday. Definitely not. Bailey Rice, Alex, what did you make of him tonight?
I thought he actually had a very good game. He stuck to the game plan of just defending. He was getting in amongst tackles, getting the ball away. Just very unlucky to get the injury that he got. Obviously, as Barry said, it was to the back of the neck, so you can't risk that at all. But he's not done himself any disservice tonight. He was very good on that part. The fact he had to defend for about 30, 40 minutes because we were down to 10 men just showed that he actually can put the shift in. And I think that he's obviously one to be watched for the future. Is Bailey Rice, if he's up and he's talking about, he will be out for a few games, but hopefully we get to see him again before the end of the season, the way Barry's talking. But for me, I thought he had a great game against a very difficult opponent in Bilbao.
100%, Kenny. And the thing is, it's probably even more difficult to judge the performances of a Bailey Rice because we went down to 10 men so early. That completely changes the whole way that he has to approach and play the game. But I thought he adapted really well, and Hadji as well. I thought defensively tonight, I thought Hadji was outstanding.
We always seem to make the very big mistake of when a midfield player or a central or a defensive midfield player comes through the academy, that we seem to compare them to Barry Ferguson. You've got a very easy thing to say about that. Barry walked into a team full of superstars that were winning everything, and Bailey Rice is coming in and out of a team we've got full of hills and valley moments. And I thought tonight his calmness in the ball, his intelligence, some of the passing, the weighted passing, but throwing his body into the game was a lot more mature than I've seen him for a wee while. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to kid on. I saw it in the team sheet and went, really? For the profile of game we had, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I'm very chuffed for the boy. I'm not chuffed to get one in the cheek and that wee shite to get away with it, pardon my French, but fair enough. But I thought he didn't do himself any harm for what we've all been screaming on this pod, that he maybe gets a wee bit more of a chance.
I tell you what we'll do. We don't usually do this, but I think he deserves it, right? So let's hear for Liam Kelly.
Liam had a bit of everything, dramatic night, but something to take into the second leg. How would you sum it all up?
Half time, I'd probably sum it up with. I actually didn't have a lot to do in the game, thanks to the efforts from all the boys in front of me. Incredible effort. Just so pleased, to be able to contribute and help the team. Massive shift the other day, proper grind Rangers performance. So it's only half time, we don't get anything at all for tonight, but the support in the stadium was incredible. Helped us get over the line. A 0-0 draw. Obviously, I'm aware it's half time, so none of these are too high. Bit of what wounded in there as well. So staying calm, half time, and we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, you mentioned the performance as well, and going down to 10 men so early on, even ending the game with 9 men, just to grind it out. They're just serving about what the players put into tonight to get something out of it.
Aye, obviously we're playing against the favourites for the tournament, so it's a really tough ask 11v11, never mind 11v10. But that's what we're all about, this club, grinding, digging in for each other. A wee bit frustrating as well that we don't produce that every week, but we've had enough tough times, so let's enjoy tonight, realise how we've done it, what did we do, the amount of effort we put in, and let's take that going forward.
Yeah, and just talked to us about that penalty saving moment. It was such a special night for yourself, your first European start, but to come up with such a big moment like that, just talk us through it.
Obviously we did a lot of work with Giggsy and Connor and Big Jack. It's obviously a great help to me as well. Young Rydham's on the bench tonight, Mason, so there's a good goalkeeping group there that looks at things and talks, and it's a collective effort, so a lot of research goes into each player, kind of rough idea what they're thinking, and then you just go aside, pick a side, and we try to go down the middle, threw my foot up, and thankfully got a foot in it.
Yeah, and obviously you're getting the opportunity tonight and taking your chance, and obviously your European debut for Rangers as well. It's just a special night for you.
A incredible night, like such an amazing night for me and my family. Obviously, I'm aware like I don't want to be too high because then if something happens next week, then what was the point tonight? So all focus moving forward goes to Aberdeen on Sunday, and then it's a massive game. Obviously, big rivalry between two clubs. A game we're absolutely desperate to win, and look forward to next week in Bilbao.
Yeah, you mentioned it only being half time, but to get something tonight must give the players such belief to go over there and try and produce a result to get into that semi-final.
Well, it's a 180-minute game, isn't it? So we've stayed alive. That's the most important. We're alive in the tie, well and truly alive. Obviously, the boys at the top end of the pitch, it's a really difficult night for them. There were Yanis, Cyril, Vash, these sort of boys. Hamza when he comes on, Ross when he comes on. The amount of effort these boys put in to stop the pressure coming on top of us, incredible. Like, so grateful because I actually didn't have a lot to do. I had comfortable saves and I had a penalty save. So really pleased with everybody's efforts, and just keep listening to the gaffer's message and we'll be all right.
Keep listening to the gaffer's message, Connor, and we'll be all right. A very understated post-match reaction for Liam Kelly.
Well, I was going to say, I thought I was Liam Kelly, but with a shut my eyes, I could have swore it was Alan Brown. For this podcast, honestly, go and listen to Alan and then listen to Liam back to back. Jeez, that is very similar. But I mean, yeah, it's very calm for him. And the thing is, he knows, as I say, he's been given that opportunity to show what he can do. Whether he starts on Sunday, probably does. I know there's been shouts for Mason Munn. I mean, listen, I'd love Mason Munn to start for no other reason, Martin, that if he started and we won the game, we could all come on here and say that every player was excellent to a Munn. But
come on.
Sadly, that reality probably will never be. But you need to give him consistent games as well. You need to keep playing him. Let's test him domestically now against Aberdeen, see how he gets on. And then you put him in the heat in Bilbao. Listen, I'd be immensely disappointed if we got to next Thursday and Jack Butland started again. And I don't mean it in a bad way.
No
but
way.
There was a moment tonight, Martin, where there was questions about, because he looked as if he was potentially injured, Kelly, and people were saying in their chat, is Butland coming on? And I had the fear, Martin, because I'm going to see after all that hard work for Kelly saving a penalty, if Butland come on and threw one in, you'd be fucking fuming. But, I like, as I say, I like Liam Kelly. I always have done. I have cheerled for him on here proudly all season, and I'm glad that he's getting he's due props because he deserves it. He does, and he's calm and measured there. He's no too up or too down. It's exactly where you want him to be, because I think he recognises, when he says about how even Sunday being an important game, a derby game. I wish he hadn't said a derby game because that lets Aberdeen fans think he actually care about them. But no, I like what he said. Really, really good stuff for a big man.
Yeah, and understated as well. And like the comment just said there, praised every single one of his teammates in that interview as well, which was excellent to see. And no, come on, CGM. Lennon Miller hasn't played in a Europa League quarter-final, has he? That's just harsh, CGM. Lennon Miller hasn't had the opportunity yet to play in a Europa League final. And if Lennon Miller wants the opportunity to play and knock out European football and win, there's only one football club Lennon Miller can go to. And we all know what football club that is. And Linda McLean, no offence, Martin, but your internet is the manager and technical director of your stream, as you on a shaky peg. Management of your stream, always the internet nightmare to blame. I told the guys this while I was on, and none of them believed me. And I've paid for the super duper through the roof Wi-Fi. I don't know what you call it, but it's super duper internet I've paid for, and it keeps doing this to me.
To be fair, you're fine, Martin. I don't think there's an issue with you, but obviously when you're playing the clips, but that's just the nature of the beast. And technical director, I mean, I don't know who's been telling you that, Linda, but I can assure you that is not correct.
I'll probably do a better job in Nils Coppin, to be fair. But anyway, look, we're going to finish on this. We're going to discuss this and more on the afternoon Rabble tomorrow at 12:30 for all of you who are a part of the Rabble network, which is available on YouTube or Patreon. Links for which are in the description to join the membership community for as little as £1.99 a month. Helps to support the show. And also a big shout out to our sponsors, Mortgage Haven UK. If you're looking to remortgage or you're a first-time buyer or you're just looking for some advice, check out the guys at Mortgage Haven UK. The link for them is also in the description. Tell them the Rangers Rabble sent you, and you're helping to support us, as well as getting the best advice possible for all things mortgages and financial advice. Kevin Wilson, again, thank you very much, Kevin. We have discussed this, but Alex, I think Tav deserves another shout out because I thought he was outstanding tonight. Thought Tav handled Nico Williams well, and credit to the whole team. Yeah, I thought Tav was excellent. I thought Yilmaz was excellent. I thought Balogun played really well. Nico Raskin, who we haven't really mentioned as well, Alex, done some amount of running about.
I mean, all the boys did some amount of running about. Nico was all over the pitch, all over the park. He was back defending. He was trying to get the ball going forward. But, you know, the man in the comment there, James Tavernier, he deserves so much credit because we all sat here and said that Nico Williams was going to absolutely bully this back line and Tav wasn't going to cope with him. He was going to have to play at centre back to help out the back line. But playing it right back, Nico Williams had the sniff because Tav just knew exactly what to do. We didn't see his typical bomb forward and try and get balls whipped in because there was a few instances in the first half when he got caught out and Dujon covered for him. But as we got into the second half, he just knew that he wasn't going to be going forward and defended unbelievably well. He had nothing to do. Nico Williams, he wasn't getting anywhere forward. And I just thought Tab was brilliant. But then you can see the exact same on the other side with Ridvan Yilmaz and Ake Williams was going nowhere either. And I just thought that they were excellent. And you just hope they can keep up that momentum and put that exact performance in next week in Bilbao.
Yeah, and Kevin Wilson back in again, Kenny. It kind of sums it up, to be honest. Kevin, my friend, thank you for the support channel member as well. You've done a captain's job tonight, Kenny.
I think we all said that maybe choose what you want to do and possibly, Tav, when you're getting a wee bit older, just decide to be just a right back and no a marauding right back. And I think that's exactly what somebody's got in his ear and told him. Keep tight on the one player and let the people in front of you in the right wing and stuff do the running back to help you rather than you starting to try and get forward and make things happen because you're going to get caught. And he didn't go forward all the time. He did when there was a little bit of a movement in the gap, but majority of the time he just became a right back. He just stayed where he was and made sure that Nico Williams knew he was there. And by God, did they make him know he was there because he was right. It was like glue. Some of the times Nico received the ball and he literally was on him before he had time to turn or think. And I think with any great player, how many times, guys, we see in this pod when you play against Celtic, how many times we screamed, play them high, play them tight, and they never be able to play. Well, that's all they needed to do with Nico Williams. Give him no time. Until, if you're going to watch him, he's going to do you, which he proved because he megged him that once. But after that, he learned his lesson that don't give him time to run, don't give him time to move and look. And he was outplayed. The guy knows he was making mistakes and everything. So hats off to Tavernier.
Yes, 100%. And I'm going to say, this is for Aldo channel member as well, I'm going to say this politely, lads. I don't give a toss about Aberdeen. I focus on next Thursday. Yep. Let Butland on Sunday. Kelly 100% next week, Connor. There is absolutely no chance. And maybe this is why you don't play Kelly on Sunday, Connor, just in case he makes a ridiculous howler. And then Barry's stuck in a position on Thursday. Do I play Kelly? Do I play Butland? What do I do?
Well, yeah, but if he doesn't play Kelly, then you presume he plays Butland. Although, again, I would like to see Mason Munn, but, you know, it's probably going to be Kelly or Butland.
Bring Stefan Kloss back, Charbonnet, just let Alan McGregor
you know,
go on the
well,
park.
you know what? You get the impression that if Big Shagger could still go, he would be in that park. You always get, even Barry, when he the heart he talks with, and the heart he talks with at the end of bad games like at the weekend as well. Where you know if he could go and get the boots on and go on that park, he would.
Connor, do you know why Barry got the yellow card, mate? Because I have no idea.
I don't have a clue. It was when the boy just basically pushed Hadji for some reason. He got booked, and then the ref just turned and went, "Well, you can have a book and all, Barry." I have no clue what that was all about.
Because when we actually looked at it, we thought it was the two Bilbao players that got booked, and then all of a sudden it popped up. It was Barry. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? He's not even.
Barry get booked for his screaming, didn't he?
Aye,
possibly. I've not thrown a 19. I've never thrown him under the bus. By the way, can I just say, Jordy, you know, and just as a sheer point of interest, Mason Munn happens to share a name with my nephew because my nephew is also called Mason. And he's at the perfect club for a name like that, let's be honest with each other.
Come on, that's another shocking joke for Connor. Listen, folks, we shall leave it there. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if I can ask you to just do me one more favour before you go, please just hit that like button. You've no idea how much it really, really does help on YouTube. It really helps the algorithm. It really helps share the video across the YouTube platform. It brings in new viewers all the time. Every single time one person just hits that like button and another one and another one, it really does help share it through YouTube. And if you haven't already, just consider subscribing. Subscribing's free. There's no fee. And again, the more subscribers we've got, the more guests we can get onto the show, because it looks as if we're dead popular, even though we're not popular at all. Just hit that subscribe button anyway. But I'll bring this up to Brian Harper. I'm a bit behind, but Martin, you are talking pish, which is usually the case, Brian, about the penalty. Yes, it brushed his hand, but Sterling gains zero advantage from that happening, as he gets so little contact on the ball, it doesn't deviate. Fair shout. I still think it's a penalty. But if you want to get in the comments and tell me exactly what you think of me, by all means do it, because you're probably right. You're probably right.
Can I just say, by the way, if you become a member of the podcast, you too, like Stuart Henderson, can get yourself into the Razzle and start playing WWE 2K24.
Don't put people off, Connor. Don't put people off.
Hey, I've got to plug my shows when I can, all right?
Yeah, you do. Like I say, loads of extra stuff. Oh, thank you, CGN. At least I'm somebody's favourite. Multiple Man and Handyman hate me, and it's Multiple Man versus Handyman tomorrow on the afternoon Rabble, which I am really looking forward to, and I'm going to make the Who Am I as hard as possible. But listen, folks, go and enjoy the rest of your...
You say Handyman's name 3 times in a mirror, Martin. Does he come round and
You really don't want me to finish this show, do you?
I was just asking a question. If he sees his name 3 times in a mirror, does he come round and fix your shelves? That's all I was asking.
Maybe he does, but he's not going to do that if you don't let me go so I can answer the door. So, folks, listen, go and enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 12:30. We're back live at 7:30 tomorrow night with a Friday Night Rabble, where we'll be discussing tonight's game, no doubt, in a lot more detail as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for hitting that like button. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all the support that we're getting, folks. We shall speak very, very soon.